Well, he shows up. He basically wins and shows up. That's all he has to do. For the first time ever, and I'm so happy I could say this because he's a good person. We've had conversations in the past. Welcome to Wicked Crazy Pinfalls, DGMC.
I'm a paid actor. It's not the real. I have a script right here. Here's a script right here. I'm reading it. There's crumbs in it. It's got crumbs over my.
Yeah, because he claims to be Tony Khan. He claims to be Tony Khan.
Yeah, I'm a paid actor.
How do you know the Tony Khan is? How do you know the Tony Khan at AEW is not the real Tony Khan?
What?
How do you know Tony Khan at the AEW is not the real Tony Khan? It could be somebody else.
Because we know what Tony Khan looks like for years.
But he's rich. But his family's rich. They can hide. Yeah, that could be. Their families. They're billionaires. They could be hiding something. You know.
Mm-hmm. You can be a paid actor, Andy.
Oh, yeah. DGMC is the illegitimate son.
He's the anonymous Raw GM.
So Shad Khan had an affair with somebody with another woman. Is that his name? Shad Khan, whatever his name is. I don't know what you're talking about. But I will say this: you're doing a very good job at hiding your British accent. So, good job.
I took classes. Costs a lot. I'm bankrupt now. Thanks. Thank you.
Oh gosh.
And then of course we got this clown over here.
Yes, I am back, and you want to know why I am back? Because I've finally figured out that being nice doesn't get you anywhere. So
you want me to?
It certainly doesn't get you a working computer.
Anakin, you want to know something? He'd be the first one to die in a Suicide Squad.
Yeah, he would be.
I think. Okay. Look, I'm not playing the game with the title anymore. You know, I don't know why. Because in a week and a half, even less than that at this point, which by the way, I haven't gotten a schedule for a prediction show or anything like that. I guess
I'm working on it. Okay.
We haven't figured it out.
I know it's going to be Tuesday, Thursday. For SummerSlam, it's going to be either Tuesday or Thursday because I'm off. And then TakeOver might be depending on Rob's schedule. I haven't got a hold of Ray, so I don't know what I'm going to do with that situation. If Ray does not appear on the day of TakeOver or day of the predictions, I will have to forego Ray his opportunity in the tournament. There's no way around that. And I'm not gonna say Ray does never have a chance. I will give Ray a shot at the title at a later date, just because of the fact that he was not afforded his second chance. It would just mean that Rob could move forward and have an actual good challenge on the next round, but I will sit in as a challenger for him to go against for a prediction show, like me and him used to do. And we haven't done that in a while, so if that comes down to it, that day we record, I'll make my own predictions, because when's the last time I've made predictions? I mean, come on now. What's up, Mags? Come on if you want to hit up. DM me and I'll get you on, man. It's literally one insane thing after the other. Keith Lee released a video on YouTube today, and it really hit home. He talked about having a blood disease. He talked about having COVID and people blaming Mia for it. There was so much stuff that was happening in that video to digest, and it's a brave thing to do. He didn't do it on WWE's time. He did it on his own personal YouTube page. Have you guys watched it yet, though?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
No, read about it.
My thoughts? He went through hell. He went through hell. He had COVID, and COVID. It sounds like COVID really affected him. Probably the worst. He even admitted he thought he would have died.
Yeah, he even said that he beat death. He fought death and won. Yeah, it's just for me, for something like that. For after all the backlash that was happening with him, it's ridiculous because everybody's like, everybody gets mad when WWE doesn't use him. Everybody gets mad when he's not used right. But this is a life thing. You can't win or lose against life. Father Time has like a certain time limit and stuff. So it's just one of those things you got to have to sit back and realize how great these guys are doing the work of stuff, and what they need to do in order to survive and provide for their families. The line he said is that they had to find out through genetic testing if it was part of his markings. Has any of you guys have gone through any of that stuff where were like genetic testing to find out if there was like any illnesses or anything else inside your family's lineage? Because when me and my ex-wife went through Vija, we found out that my family, deep in the genetic code, there is a lethal disease in there, but it's the probability of getting that is more than like getting hit by lightning 50 times in a year. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's just it's interesting to know about these things, but not know their personal reasons though.
Yeah, I mean, like, for so long, all we had heard was that he's not cleared, and and Sean would never go into detail because he said, it's not for me to share. All I can say is that he's not cleared, and so many people just they found that funny, like okay, like it's not an injury, and so many people were thinking that was just an excuse. That really what it was that creative didn't have anything for Lee, and it's like on the one hand, like I think Keith would have wanted to share his experience anyway with his fans, but it also is a shame that he also kind of felt like he had to because there was so much rumor and speculation around it and surrounding it, and it was reminiscent to me in some ways of what was going on with Brody, and how Brody was going through this real health issue as well, and and so many people were like, well, where is Brody up? Where is he? And people thinking he was just being written off TV, or like all sorts of reasons, and and it's just like, and it's just a reminder of you never know what somebody is going through, and and that's why talking gossip and spreading rumors and stuff can be so damaging, because then the people feel like they have to come forward about their own health and what's going on, just to stop all the misinformation.
That's just jumping on Bray Wyatt, right? The mental health issues without knowing. Like they just assume he has mental health issues, and apparently it's not the case.
Yeah, it was because he had some family obligations. In like May and June, and so that's why he wasn't on. And then he was preparing to come back.
Yeah,
like he was scheduled to come back Monday.
They wouldn't cut him if they had mental health issues. If they released him because of that, that's very petty. They wouldn't cut him because of that.
Well,
I
don't know necessarily about that, because let's not forget they cut Mercedes Martinez, and she's still dealing with her concussion issues that she suffered in a WWE ring. They released Matt Hardy when he was on the shelf while he was healing up from getting hurt, and they released him. It definitely would be in very poor taste, but it's not. But it wouldn't surprise me if WWE was to have done something like that. But thankfully, that's not what the case, what happened, and what the case was.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Lee is one of those guys that, talent-wise, and a lot of people will literally just be like, "Yo, we don't understand what you're saying." For a guy his size, transcends a lot of talent throughout decades. Like, he could be what he was in NXT. He could be even better on the main roster if they do it right. I said this on Listening to Your Boy in the chat that probably didn't get picked up, and I've asked this, and I think I asked this. Good shows are produced by good stories, and good talent will be driven by good stories. You need to be invested into it. And the problem with WWE right now is nobody is invested in some of their product, and now they're dwindling their talent to almost to the bare bone on one of their products. So to me, that as a fan of wrestling and stuff, that's showing me that you're forcing people, you're dwindling one of your products because it's developmental, whereas you're trying now to force people to watch a product that on Mondays that's suffering severely in creative and talent, whereas your number one high paid show is on Friday nights that Fox is flipping the bill on, and you are literally pouring your best talent that you have, your like top A talent, because Fox absolutely is paying the most between the NBC deal. If you take the rights out for the streaming services, it literally comes down to dollars and cents, and they're basically saying, well, NXT doesn't matter, but it should, because of the fact that it gives a person for content an choice for a Tuesday night instead of watching when hockey starts up and it's the beginning of the season. Football is going to be on Monday nights, not Tuesdays. It gives a good alternative to watching something different. And the hardcore wrestler who likes catch can wrestling, story driven stuff like that, NXT, as much as it's quoted developmental, gives you that. I mean, who would have thought Cross and Joe at TakeOver 36 like 2 years ago, and now that's actually going to happen? I mean, the story that's being driven on, that is a good story. You're putting Joe in a position of authority where he has to defend his boss's honor, and it's ridiculous how it's not being shown a lot more. Like, they're using some of the old stories in the Attitude Era, but they're using a lot of other things to build up on their own versions. It's just, to me, it seems like, and I don't know what you guys think, they're forcing people now to, when they're killing off NXT very, very slowly, to watch Raw instead. Like, it feels like they're going backwards instead of forwards, whereas AEW is giving you a one-night show every Friday night, having Dynamite on Wednesday nights, predominantly good in ratings. Ratings to me, because I'm old school, he popped out. I don't know why.
It's over.
Will the real one show up?
Literally. Oh, okay. Literally, like, will push the narrative a little bit, where it gives you a forecast of, not years forecast of what, but it shows a trend on what people are watching when it comes to certain programs.
I mean, so I don't think it's as necessarily like, oh, the NXT is going down, I guess we'll have to watch Raw or SmackDown instead. I think it'll be, we'll watch something else on Tuesday nights instead. And it's stupid because they're getting paid by USA for airing on NXT. Like, this isn't when it was on the network and it was something that they were doing wholly on their own. They are getting money to make this product, and it really is, a fact that, somebody had brought this up, and I don't remember if this was on Twitter or what, but Triple H had really been set on, basically kind of making his own independent fed, but able to run it under the WWE banner. So he has all the money and the influence of WWE, but is able to run it how he would run his own fed. And the problem is that, and we've seen this for years, most of the time people that come up from NXT are not treated the same on the main roster, because Vince doesn't have that indie mindset. He has a mindset of sports entertainment. And so for some people, it's a matter of, it should be about getting them ready for the main roster and developing characters ready for the main roster. But the fact is that's not what the fans of NXT were wanting. They were preferring the NXT product over the Raw and SmackDown product, and most wrestling fans would agree to that. And rather than see that and go, oh, hey, they've got something down there than NXT, we should try to emulate that. Instead, they're neutering NXT and making NXT more like Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Well, first things first, before we get started, I want to welcome DGMC back and your boy Rob Wilkins.
No, she's like, if you're gonna jam it in there, it's got to be wet. Hey, what's up?
Welcome to the co-founder of Wicked Crazy Pinfalls.
I was doing that like.
I'll be right back.
I'm not even talking to anybody over here. I was just like, I gotta wait till I get introduced before I say that.
But we've got the premiere of DGMC in the house. So
hey man, how you doing?
So it's good to actually have somebody who literally eggs Mr. Warren Hayes on for days on too. So, Rob, what do you think about the whole idea of ratings can show like months, weeks of future viewing, of forecasting that? Because to me, I think it'll show trends, but it won't show long-term trends, just short-term trends that I think because of content, WWE is actually panicking about.
Well, that's the thing. WWE used to have things planned out for a long time. I mean, there was points like I remember hearing stories that the night after WrestleMania, like back in the day, that sometimes Vince already knew what he wanted his next main event to be at WrestleMania, and things would be planned out, and feuds would last a lot longer, kind of like what they're doing now. But now they're at the point where they're not as fun because the wrestlers are still wrestling each other every week, or at least they're hitting each other. That's one thing I like about what they've been doing kind of with Roman Reigns recently. I mean, granted, at the house shows, they're doing the dark matches, so you don't get to see them. But Roman Reigns and John Cena have not really touched at all, so like we're talking long term. I don't think Vince is so wishy-washy because we all already know everything goes through Vince. Like, the writers can give him the best story ever, but if Vince does not like it, it's not going through. And that's like the Aleister Black thing. Like, Aleister Black said on, I think it was Jericho show or Renee Paquette show, that they talked about this for a while, and Vince actually liked the character, but he just didn't get it. So it didn't work. But everybody
else
make sense? Brilliant.
How do you like a character but don't get it? How does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's just that's why. Like, are they freaking out? I believe they are, but I also believe that they know. The thing is, you would think they would have tried to fix this before, not until AEW got so close in ratings. So that's why I honestly think that they don't have long-term plans, because you bring in Goldberg for a few months to wrestle Bobby Lashley. John Cena after SummerSlam is they don't really know. I know he's going to be back for that Madison Square Garden SmackDown, I believe. Other than that, he's not probably going to be around. So that already kind of tells me that they didn't really have a plan other than just do this real quick and then see where it goes from there. And that's the thing that I've noticed with the title contenders is they've done better at making things last 1 month at a time. Like, so Cesaro, he got into a little feud with Roman. It lasted a month. Then Roman went on to Edge again, I think. Was it Edge?
Edge, yeah. Edge.
And then he's already done with Edge. So they're breaking it up, but it's just
oh man.
I don't know what happened to Drew.
I don't know. Something popped him.
Yeah.
What popped you, Drew? Like when you get
I was like, did I fart and not realize it?
I haven't seen him laugh this bad since RJ said he cut a promo on him. Did somebody cut another promo on you? Did RJ cut another promo on you?
Please go to Mace's Twitter.
Mace? Oh, okay.
Mace? Okay.
I don't know who Mace is. Who's Mace?
That's from
T-Bar. Mace.
Oh, okay.
T-Bar.
Sorry.
Oh my God!
Hold on. What's his Twitter handle?
Sure. It's just Mace. You'll find it. Mace the wrestler. Oh, I just read it. Share it on screen if we're allowed.
I can't find it.
I don't want to know. Everybody's.
What's the exact?
Oh my God!
What is the exact Twitter handle?
At Mace the wrestler. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh. Okay.
I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
Oh no!
I don't want to know.
Oh.
Ignorance is bliss.
Oh
Jesus.
no! Oh. You sure you don't want to know? I can share it right now.
If you want to, but I want to say something before we do. Former Jack Swagger, who's now in AEW, has challenged Gable Stevenson to a $20,000 takedown old school wrestling catch can match.
I don't know if I would do that if I
I'm sorry, this is just too good. I wanna care about what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's just so
Only
wrong.
Kelly would want to know this.
Oh my God.
And the things we do on this show.
Oh, there you go, Kelly. Now you know. Oh man.
So the Jake Hager thing, did he do it on Twitter or what?
Twitter, yeah. He's like, I will literally bet $20,000, $20K, and that Gable Stevenson cannot take me down on the mat. And he's like, well. And then there's a screenshot of it stating that he literally will do it in 5 minutes.
Hold on. You gotta look at this response. Look at this response.
Oh, come on.
Oh man.
Because Masur and Mace used to be on they used to do Twitch together, right?
Oh.
It's bad when somebody literally posts that about Patriots football.
Oh. Oh.
My night is made.
Speaking of night, Drew, have you seen the Suicide Squad yet?
No.
Okay, there's a scene with John Cena in it. You're going to want to see. Aaron knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You're going to want to see it. It's going to make you wish John Cena had been wearing the tight black trunks that Finn Balor has been wearing all these years instead of the jorts. Yeah.
Yes.
No, don't.
Sign me up. Sign me up.
Just get HBO Max and watch the movie there. You don't even
actually.
Okay, well, there you go.
We've totally gone off the rails. I apologize.
Yeah. No. We always go off the rails. Who you kidding?
That's what the show is.
The last couple of weeks, we've had Dennis Farrell cut a promo. RJ City cut a promo. I might even just ask Rob Wilkins to cut a promo if he feels like it.
No, I was trying to see what Gable Stevenson has way too much to lose to do that.
I heard he got offered NFL deals. Is that true?
There was talk that you might get like a tryout, but I don't see.
Everybody's offering.
I mean, granted, he just made $250,000 in the Olympics, but from like sponsorship stuff. But
plus, he's got people hot on his tail for contracts, even to be doing what he does now, just at a bigger scale.
Yeah, he just has way too much to lose to do that. I mean, if let's say let's just say hypothetically, he does get in that ring with Jake Hager, and he gets taken down by Hager, Vince McMahon's not going to take him in.
No.
Just think that's what happened with Mark Henry when he went back to do that World's Strongest Man competition. Vince basically said, if you do not win this, you're done. Because he's like, I can't do this. And I don't see how Gable Stevenson can do this.
You don't want to hire a loser.
Yeah. So he has way too much to lose. I mean, if he knew he was going to do it, like, granted, and saying that too, Jake Hager has a lot to lose, because if he gets taken down by a WWE guy, that ain't good either.
No,
but I don't see Tony Khan firing him, because it looks like you have to do something awful for Tony Khan to fire you, that's okay. I'm fine with that. You should only be fired when you do something awful. Like,
yeah, I'm not going to fire him if he loses.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony.
Vince would fire, like, he just would. That's the way he is. Like Bart Gunn, look at that. Butterbean beat him and made him look like an absolute fool, and then
they set up Butterbean to fail.
Not
Butterbean, Bart Gunn to fail.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I love it to see it, absolutely, but as the business person, there's no way in hell I'm doing that, because it's just. Do I think Gable could do it? Absolutely, because I've watched Jake Hager fight, and I'm not saying he's. I would get my.
Wait, so this is a shoot fight? Like, they want to do a shoot fight?
They want to just
like a takedown.
It's a takedown fight. It's like the old school Olympic catch can grapple.
If I was either going to wrestling or mixed martial arts.
No, it would be like Olympic wrestling, Greco-Royal woman.
Yeah, if I ask each one of you, what would you do? You'd say no. Like, if you have potential, like, money from UFC or WWE, would you take that chance? $20,000 when?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
I will not step into
the cereal.
They would not give him 20,000. They would not give him 20,000.
I stopped eating ass after Taco Bell once, but hey, she was. Wow, we lost.
Oh, so he's a coward. He won't laugh on screen like I.
Yeah. Oh no, we lost her. It was okay. I mean,
oh my god!
But Burritos, I've actually had the cereal too.
Oh my god! This kid always gets good. This always makes. We got Drew out of character now because he's all like looking at me.
No, I'm done now. So now my thing about first of all, I tweeted this I think yesterday. Whenever I don't even remember anymore because every day is just the same. I don't care about Gable Stevenson only because if he already reminds me of a WWE apologist. Just because he's been so pro WWE, it just feels like that's where he's going, and he's going to be like Seth on Twitter, and just be like, "Oh well, you thought badly about this, and you booed this, and blah blah blah." Like, that's just what I see from him. If he's not 50-50'd in his first 3 months, maybe I'll start to care. But I just have no faith in that happening, or that not happening rather. Well, I'm pretty sure he'll be 50-50 by the end of the first month that he's on the main roster. Mm-hmm. So, how do I care about somebody like that?
No, I guarantee you he would not be a guy that's 50-50 like that first month. He'd be protected, like, probably for as long as Vince wanted to protect him. That's just because he's going to have a lot of eyes. You bring in that Olympic competitor. Until Vince
it's the same way with Gable. Gable was in the Olympics too.
Yeah, but Gable wasn't successful. Yeah, he wasn't successful, Gable, though. Like this guy. This is more
didn't he win a medal? He didn't win a medal, not a gold one, but like Gable's a bronze or something?
Under 60.
But yeah, I guess. But this is more comparable to Kurt Angle. Even though Kurt Angle won a broken freaking net, this is more comparable. I would compare this more to Kurt Angle than Chad Gable.
Well, I mean,
Ronda Rousey was in the Olympics too. Remember that?
Yeah, it makes more sense though because of the fact that if they bring Stevenson into it, that guy literally the way
Chad
he
Gable's under
is.
6 feet, so
Yeah, but I'm saying he was in the Olympics as just as a statement. That's what they kept telling everybody. I think with Stevenson, I think the best route if he does do WWE is just let him just mature, like kind of like wine, where it just over time he gets more and more into that stuff. I mean, nobody can be like Kurt Angle where it instantaneously it clicks in his head. So I mean, It's just one of those things you have to do. And Rob's seen a bunch of the matches being up in his area. A lot of the wrestling stuff for like that style he's seen up there, right, Rob?
Oh yeah, I've gone to University of Minnesota matchups like where, I mean, it was after Brock Lesnar left and Shelton Benjamin, but I've watched a lot of that stuff, and yeah, it's huge up here. Like it's huge in the Midwest, but yeah, the thing about Gable Stevenson is he'll be protected for a long time, even in NXT. They'll have somebody work with him just like they're working with his brother right now. His brother will probably be announced for the like the class, like the next class. He's just been there. He hasn't been like he's been working out, but he hasn't been part of like classes yet to get started. So you
think he's going to WWE?
What's that?
You think he's going to go to WWE?
Gable? Yeah, if he goes into wrestling, he's going to WWE. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not doing the AEW thing. The thing is, it comes down to what UFC does. UFC has money just like WWE. If not,
but I think he's more passionate about WWE. I think, from what I could tell, he's more passionate about wrestling.
I think so too. Like you said, it's been one of his dreams.
Yeah.
Could he go to UFC and not do well and then come to WWE? Probably, but I think he knows it might be best. In this case, he might do the Brock thing. Do it for a few years, go into UFC.
Yeah. It's better to be on top. It's better to be on top than starting at the bottom,
And the other thing that he's already made clear is that he wants, and I'm willing to bet he would negotiate this. He's hung out with Brock Lesnar. He wants Paul Heyman with him. He said that in interviews. Like if he goes, he's already a Paul Heyman guy, and he says Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar have been mentors.
I'll say this: if he gets good enough in the ring, I think if he gets good enough and they see that he's proved a lot in the ring, in the PC or whatever, I think he'll skip NXT.
Well, keep checking it out, Kelly. We got more things to come, especially with the tournament. We'll touch on the tournament in a little bit. If things go the way it is and that lineage of Minnesota-style wrestlers keeps going the way it is, that style legacy is going to be there for a long time. And Stevenson is a good example of that. I really hope he falls in Angle's footsteps and just literally tears it up and gets it instantaneously, but we won't know until it all falls into it. We talked, and you guys did touch about the PC and NXT or a little bit. We talked about that and stuff, but what gets me is that some of the words that have been floating out in Twitter and stuff about how WWE is perceiving NXT now. I mean, you have to think about it. NXT was, Florida Championship Wrestling for a while, FBW, and now they're trying to revert back into it. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's my thing is I don't really know.
I think you need both. You need veterans and up-and-coming talent.
Yeah, and I just don't get it. I think it's one of those things where they're saying it's for budget reasons, which it's not.
I said a couple of weeks ago that NXT lost its developmental status as soon as it went on television. As soon as it went on television, that was it.
I argue they lost it before television when they all went signing all those independents like Kevin Owens, Finn Balor,
Yeah,
Samoa Joe.
It lost that feel. Like, I mean, literally, the NXT, like when it wasn't on TV, it was a special thing. Like, everybody tuned into it, and it actually hurt the indies to an extent. Not as big as they make it out to be, but
Here's the thing, though. I don't know. Like, I want to know what WWE is, what they mean about developmental, because something that I don't really see talked about that much is, are they saying developmental as in they need to develop more in their wrestling, or is it developmental they
everything.
need to develop the WWE style?
Both. Like, everything.
Yeah,
It's a
because they'll
full-
have people like, for example, right now, Parker Boudreaux, who had no experience. So for him, he's learning how to wrestle, like, period.
Mini
Like,
Brock.
he's learning.
But he should be
you know.
in the PC then. He should have
He
nothing
was,
to do with
he was on
Yeah,
NXT.
Right, but the the PC it's kind of like
It was about
like there's a reason why the WWE PC YouTube channel always has NXT people on it.
Yeah,
because
I
the
didn't know they
idea
had a
is that they do.
they do.
Because there was a thing a couple of years ago where they actually had like a little like challenge thing between different PC members, and like Bianca Belair was in it, and like they had like several different people compete in it. And you know, the PC is there to help train people how to not just how to wrestle, but also how to do it the WWE style, and also to be like, hey, you know, here's where you should be looking for the hard cam. Here's how to be aware of the cameras, like all of that sort of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like I was saying this like a week or two ago on Discord. I think the last great, like truly great NXT moment was probably when Rhea won the title from Shayna.
I agree.
Because I don't think since then, I don't think they've had a moment that has been that great. Because Keith Lee winning the NXT title got immediately brought down the following week when he then relinquished the North American title. And they have not, you know, and like Raquel winning the women's championship was good, but not great. Io, unfortunately she was taking it from Charlotte, and Io was kind of the third person in the story because it was really a continuation of the Rhea and Charlotte story from WrestleMania, whereas Rhea was the result of what NXT had been good at, and that's doing that more long-term booking. Because Rhea first showed up on NXT, I think September.
Yes, and
said to Shayna, "You haven't beaten me," and it took all the way until December. And I think the only time that they were ever actually like in the ring having a match was at War Games, which obviously, War Games, that's a completely different thing. And Rhea was booked very well in that match because she was down because
it was 4-on-2. Remember?
Right? Yeah, because it was just her and Candice.
Because Dakota turned on Tegan,
and then the way that the way that it ended was Rhea gets handcuffed to I think she got handcuffed to Shayna actually, and then takes her out with a riptide on a steel chair, and pins her that way, and like ever since then, I don't think they've reached the heights that they have been at, and it's been kind of a slow decline in terms of the popularity and the quality of NXT. But now with these cuts, it's now more. I think it's going to be a much bigger drastic steps, and plus they're losing Candice.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome, and not losing Candice, but I'm saying it's an awesome thing what's happening with her and Johnny.
Oh, 1,000%.
Because
1,000%.
I want to clarify that, because if we say, well, Candace, it's sad that they lost Candace, people would think about it as we're talking, since you're talking about cuts and you're going anything after.
No. Like that's awesome for her and Johnny, and congratulations to them. That is, that is so cool. But it's just like when Becky had to drop the Raw title because she got pregnant. Like, that's awesome for her and for Seth. But it did mean, okay, now the women's division on Raw, now they've just lost a big act, and now the women's division in NXT, now they have lost a big act. And unfortunately, I don't think there's anybody else really at that level except for maybe of Dakota, when she's not getting beaten by Aaliyah on main event.
But I'm saying that if you had to pick somebody to take, just for right now, Candace's spot, who seems promising, I think one of those girls from the Mandy Rose faction they're developing seems promising. Gigi, I think that could
Kelly?
be. I mean, there's so many other people.
Who's
too.
the other girl's name? Do you really know the other one?
You've got Casey and Catanzaro. Casey Catanzaro, you could use her in a different way
Carter.
too. Yeah, there's so many other options too. And if you have to, because there's nobody being used on and sitting on the sidelines, you could always bring somebody from the main roster down just to
Rose.
Just like they did with Mandy. Just why not bring Dana back down and have Dana do some stuff and get that way they're in the public eye. That's the most important thing.
Dana's actually not a bad shout because she has really improved in the last few years. She's really been working hard. But if she were to come back down, you couldn't just immediately put her with Mandy. Let her do her own thing. Let her be her own person. Also too, because Ember's out still, because she's out with an injury, which is why she had to get replaced on Tuesday. But I guess another one that would be.
But also, this also could hinder the fact that if they wanted to pull the trigger for Raquel in the fall to come up, that actually hinders now, because now they have to keep her down there just to keep a balance out. I mean, if you pull Raquel up, that just leaves the cupboard almost bare boned.
Here's the thing though, they already did that when they released Tyler Rust, who was part of Diamond Mine. The fact is Vince doesn't care about what's going on in NXT, and we saw that when Jeff Hardy beat the NXT champion in under 2 minutes. All the hard work that had been done with Cross, and so now the story between Cross and Joe, it's less interesting because the mystique of Cross has been shattered because of what happened.
I need to say this in DGMC. You have to deal with this guy as the head of the Warren Hayes Discord. Anakin. I mean, let DMGC say what he needs to. What do you think of the whole thing with NXT?
Knew it. I knew it.
If you have nothing nice to say, it's better to say nothing at all. So I totally get it.
Remember, Kaylee Ray is in America.
Yeah, I know that. It's just that for me, I'd rather have her go against Dakota for the title than anything. Because if you're going to take the belt off Raquel and give it to Dakota versus Kaylee Ray.
I think Dakota's getting caught up soon. I think over Raquel, Dakota's going to get caught up soon. I just have a feeling she's main roster, about to be main roster ready.
I think the opposite. I think Raquel's gonna get there first.
Yeah, Raquel, the way she is and stuff, her and Rhea as a tag team on Raw. Just to take especially if they're gonna drop the belts off of Natty and Tamina. So.
Oh my God! They have to do something with that division. I just think the thing with Raquel, they haven't booked her very well since she became champion.
I mean, they haven't done a lot of things recently, except for what's on SmackDown. Everything that's been going good for WWE is on Friday nights for the most part, and it stinks.
Do you like the King Corbin stuff? I mean, not Baron Corbin stuff.
I mean, I want DMGC's thoughts on all this. So, what do you think about all this?
for NXT, I think
Just
Evolution in 2014 was a peak, and I think it's just been all downhill since then. Like slowly downhill. So I'm not surprised where it is right now. To be honest,
it for me, it's kind of a shocker just because they're going a little bit backwards when they were doing so well before all this stuff and they were going forward. I think that if they kept them on Peacock, it would have been a lot better for them because a lot of people who are the hardcore fans would have gone to Peacock and would be more content. But it all depends on how it all goes. I mean, it's one thing after another, right? I mean, we all see the same thing. Since we're touching on NXT anyways, do you think Cole's staying or going?
Staying.
Yeah, I think staying.
They
ruined him. Damn it. They ruined that.
I mean, I think it all depends on what the result.
They kill my boy.
He's a ghost. He's a ghost. We know it. He's a ghost. It depends on what happened coming out of that meeting with Vince.
He's on his phone. It's like the phone's acting up really bad.
Yeah. You know why? Because he's too much of a coward to get a computer. Both of these guys. That's why they're on the bottom. They won't get a proper working computer. That's the problem.
You're calling me submissive and breedable.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But I think it depends on the result of that. I think it depends on the result of that meeting with Vince. If Adam Cole walked out of that meeting, not signed yet, did not sign a contract, I don't think he stays in WWE. Because I think seeing the cuts that happened, especially Bobby Fish, one of his UE boys, I don't see him re-signing as much as, being a part of Up, Up, Down, Down and the party, means. I don't see it. Again, unless, like Sean said, unless he gets a guaranteed no-cut contract, and where he's able to keep his Twitch, I don't see it, and I would see him going to AEW, and not because of Britt, but because of the Elite, because of the Bucks.
You know what? I don't want to join the Elite. I know he's friends with them. I want because the way he left the Elite, they turned on him.
They killed him. They killed him. Right?
Yeah.
Right, TK? They killed Adam Cole on BTE. He's dead.
I want him to get revenge on the Elite.
Yeah.
He's a ghost.
Get revenge on the Elite.
Yeah,
that's why.
Don't make the Elite the NWO, okay? Don't make the Elite the everybody.
They signed Undertaker, who's literally a dead man. So they can do. Feds can do what they want.
They have that woman demon, whatever his name is, Abomination.
But what I would love to see is if Cole, Strong, Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly, if they all got out of the WWE umbrella, you get Adam Cole showing up in AEW first, and seemingly like, he's going to rejoin the Elite. Like the Bucks are all cool with him. But then you bring out the UE, and Cole goes, "Nah, man, you guys turned on me. Then I found my real brothers." Like that would be cool to get a UE versus Elite thing going on. You could do a blood and guts match because all 4 members of the UE, they've done like 3 War Games matches each or 4, so they know how to work that. So they know how to do like those kind of matches. And seeing the Bucks and Kenny in a blood and guts match, maybe you throw Cody back in there. You get Cody back involved, done with the Elite somehow to get the 4-on-4. Like that would be my like dream feud for Adam Cole in AEW. But to me it all depends if he signed a contract. on Friday, because if he didn't sign the contract, I don't think he's staying.
Brandon Cutler and Michael Nakazawa, I'll say this, are ready to the Vincent of the Elite. Both of them. It's pretty much the role. It's Vincent of the Elite.
It's just one of those things that, like, if Cole leaves, there's a lot of options for him. But the thing is that NXT may take a major hit, and like I said last week, if you take Joe out of the equation, who's the NXT champion?
Good question.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. Assuming Joe beats Cross goes up to Raw and stays on Raw, and now Joe's champion. Who is his first challenger? Like,
I mean, the only person I could think of is they got rid of him would have been Bronson, and that would have been a perfect fit.
Bronson, yeah.
Let's
see.
You can't because Gargano's gonna. If
Dunn's contract is up, right? He's up too at the end of the month.
What I'm saying is with Gargano, the thing is if he is obviously going to stay with NXT.
Yeah, right now because of his wife in Florida. His wife is pregnant in Florida, so he'll stay in NXT.
And the thing is that it makes more sense, and he's not going to go anywhere anytime soon not because of work, but he's not going to go because of the fact that his wife's there, everything they know is there and stuff. With NXT, you don't have to travel. I mean, it makes more sense, especially if your wife's sitting there and all that stuff. You know, you want to be able to be there for all these major moments and stuff. So if Gargano is not going to be the NXT champion anytime soon, I mean, then because he's going to go on maternity for a few weeks, the only other thing I could see is O'Reilly maybe as possibly NXT champion. I mean, who is like a name, Rob, you could see in NXT to actually take that title if they give Joe the belt? Who's like Joe's first feud if he wins?
Who I think Joe's first feud. Well, I think it really depends, like with what Adam Cole does. If they bring Adam Cole up, or if he leaves, or if he stays. If Adam Cole stays, it has to be Adam Cole. He needs to be back in the main event picture. I always looked at him as the main event. They just need to get back to that. But if it's not him, I could see them doing Pete Dunne because they've kind of hinted at that a little bit. But that also depends if he re-signed. I believe he's more 75% to 100% of staying than Adam Cole. Adam Cole, I think, stays, but I don't know. I want him to stay because I like NXT. I do. I wasn't happy with all the releases, but it is what it is now. But other than that, I could see Gargano, I guess. I don't know if they're going to go that route. And I don't think that I like what Hit Row's doing, but I'm not ready for them to be in the title scene yet, like main title scene.
What a tag team title scene for me.
Yeah, I want them to be kind of like what they're doing now for a while.
Yeah,
they can North American title, maybe tag team soon. Not when I say soon, within the probably.
Honestly, Scott is amazing, but I don't see him as a real champion.
Yeah, I'm just saying they got to build on it. Like,
yeah,
that's what Hit Row could eventually do that.
So one name that I've noticed a lot of people haven't said, and he's in a storyline that if you pull him from it, you could. And before that, he was, to me, getting closer to that main event spot. Is Dexter Lumis. And Lumis versus Joe, if it's not Lumis now, it'll be Lumis later. At some point, because of the fact that they're pulling people left and right up, and Lumis is the only one holding the belt. I mean, you got to figure what to do next. I mean, Grimes is probably going to end up going next year, right? If they are going to end up keeping everything Grimes is most likely going to end up going to the main roster at some point within 2022, right?
I could see it.
He's a Vince guy, Grimes. Vince would love Grimes.
Yeah, I could see it. I think Vince would be more of a LA Knight guy, but
I do think LA Knight guy could be in the title picture. I just don't think he'll win it, but I think he's one of the guys possibly.
yeah.
DG, what are you thinking?
I don't see it. I think he stays in NXT for like a really long time. I'm talking about Grimes. I think he stays like at least another 2 years. Like,
Really?
Probably get a title run from there.
Yeah, I think
I
I think
don't
you're
see
right.
him
I think he gets the
bringing
title
him up.
run.
I mean, for me, I think in the next year he'll probably be on the main
He
roster.
might.
Going back and forth like they're doing with Cross a little
Grimes?
bit, just to see if he's ready.
He might be the most entertaining. If he becomes NXT champion, he might end up being the most entertaining NXT champion ever. Because just how he is.
As long as he doesn't have the hat.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't need the hat.
No, he needs the hat. No, he needs the hat.
No.
That's not negotiable.
No.
He needs the hat.
No. The
Give me
hat. The hat can get cut. WWE can future endeavor the hat. That I'm fine with that. That's a cut I don't mind.
Whether he
Well, if you
becomes
notice
champion
that,
or on the main roster, he's gonna have the hat. You're used to it.
You notice that Aaron's re-signed with Wicked Crazy Pinfalls, so obviously that kind of worked out there.
Signed the contract. And
But,
yes, this time my name was on the contract too. It's not like I didn't do what John Cena did.
But I mean, if they're gonna do anything to fix this product, they're doing great on SmackDown. They have to fix Raw, and they need to keep NXT at the level it is. And now it's like, Monday nights, like a good example. I was talking about ratings and stuff for projections. I'll name it. Say this: would you rather watch NXT reruns or on-demand stuff on Monday nights, or would you rather watch Raw stuff on Tuesday nights? Again,
I'd rather watch Raw stuff from the 90s.
I'd pick something else entirely, and I think that's the big big problem. Like the people are like, I'll do something else. I'll watch other TV shows. I'll watch movies. I'll play games. I'll do whatever. Like for me, like the only appointment viewing right now is Dynamite, and then Rampage on Fridays. Like that's where I'm like, okay, nope. I got to make sure I'm done. I got to make sure that I watch that, and that's what WWE needs to get back to. They need it to be where people are like, nope. I gotta make sure I watch because I don't want to miss what happens. And unfortunately, Raw has been very much catch the clips on YouTube. NXT is a little better, but even SmackDown is just kind of like they lucked into Sasha coming back and doing that Sasha then Bianca feud again, because the match itself at Mania was so good, but despite the build being horrible, but like SmackDown is like it's better than Raw, but I don't think it's that much better. It's still not it's still not appointment viewing for me. The only reason I'm probably going to watch it tomorrow is because the Fightful post show tomorrow will be doing SmackDown and Rampage, and I don't want to just be sitting there while they cover SmackDown first, going like, okay, I don't really care about this or whatever because I didn't watch it. Like I at least want to be able to be involved in the conversation about that. But it's not something. It's not something that I'm looking forward to. It's not something that I'm like really excited to see, and that's the problem. And that's WWE hasn't. The last time that I was actually excited for something was WrestleMania, and that's because it was Mania. Like even Money in the Bank, I was just kind of like, yeah, like the ladder match is really fun, but I'm not really feeling anything else really there.
Well, I mean, for me, to use a phrase and a quote, it must be must-see TV that NBC used to say. It's one of those things that's it's unraveling and unfathomed that to say that WWE in 2020 or the 2020 decade is almost ungodly to watch now compared to where it was almost 50 years ago, right?
Well,
50?
Yeah,
I'm
that's what I heard.
saying almost
Mainly
50
like,
years ago, like a 50 years worth of programming.
40. Oh, yeah. Well, if you include like WWF when they back with Vince Senior, but
That's the
like
70s.
yeah. So yeah, that's close to 50 because I'm
Yeah.
39. I was born in '82. So and
I'm right. I'm 1 year above you.
yeah. So it's almost 50 years. It just didn't get really popular again until 83, 80, like
83, 85, between
Yeah,
83
is when
85. When basically, I know this name is kind of not popular. Say when Hogan
Yeah.
came along.
Hogan, and then you had like
The first WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Hogan,
And they
like,
incorporated a lot of the rock culture, the 80s rock.
Yeah. But I'm going to end this show before we go out with the question that people have been answering all day today. What is one pay-per-view or match or sporting event that you guys have watched 5 times and just enjoy it and still do? Like, I even put it on mine, and that was WrestleMania 14, Austin and Michaels. To me, that was the game changer of how everything changed in WWE. As a fan, that kind of changed everything besides the Hell in the Cell match. For me, for perspective about story and how it's going to go in an era of changing. So, I mean, what are your? I didn't watch much of a lot of people's for the most part, but what are yours?
mine was well, the one I put was Mr. Perfect versus Bret Hart at SummerSlam '91. That was one that I watched over 5 times. But another one that I would say is up there was I was a big fan of Young Bucks versus Kenny and Adam Page at Revolution. I've watched that one probably 5 or 6 times. That's easily the best tag team match I've ever watched.
What about you, Drew?
I said Ricochet versus Will Ospreay, Best of Super Juniors 2016. That was the first match that I had seen outside of the WWE umbrella. So that kind of really what made me the fan that I am today. But the other one, I know that this doesn't get talked about as a positive that much, even though it was incredibly popular at the time, mostly popular in people favoring it. But I've seen the Firefly Funhouse, the John Cena one, like multiple times. I laugh at that all the time. That was such a great one. And then the other one that I've seen a lot is the CM Punk versus John Cena, not Money in the Bank one that they did, 2011 one, but the one that they did on Raw in February of 2013, where Cena put his Royal Rumble spot to face The Rock on the line.
Well, yeah, I remember that.
That match is incredible. I've seen that probably more times than the Funhouse and the BOSJ match combined, because the pile driver and just the crowd is every single time it looks like somebody's going to win, the other kicks out and the crowd just gasps. It's an incredible match. It's on YouTube.
About you?
You can find it.
What about you, DGMC?
You said it had to be 5 times?
Yeah. There was a question out on Twitter.
55
So,
times.
have you seen it?
I've seen Shawn Michaels, Triple H, SummerSlam 02.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, SummerSlam 02 got me into wrestling. I've seen it like 55 times. I can recite every spot by memory at this point.
That's insane.
That's
all right.
crazy. Wow.
What about you, Anakin?
So I was originally
5
gonna go with the triple threat at WrestleMania 20, because I've easily seen that one 10 times, but I have not been able to. have not watched it since 2007. Like I had the WrestleMania Anthology DVD set. I had the last set, which included WrestleMania 2000 through 20. And so I watched it that match so many times. Then I haven't watched it since 2007. So now, the one that I posted was Cena with Cena and Styles at SummerSlam 2016, because that was the first time where I really saw just how good AJ Styles was, and between that and I also have seen at least 5 times the rematch they had at the Rumble in 2017 for the title. Those matches are some of my all-time favorite matches. They're my go-to matches. If there's ever people that still say, "Oh, Cena can't wrestle," and they are what first made me become a big fan of Styles and his work. And then the other one that I would easily put on there is the ladder match for the North American Championship at TakeOver New Orleans. That was my very first NXT show that I ever watched. That was my first TakeOver, and what an opening match. I mean, there's a reason it got 5 stars, because, and that's also where I look there and I'm like, man, like this is how good Ricochet is. This is how good he can be instead of what he is doing now. Yeah, but I've got Dante Martin on AEW, and the stuff he was pulling last night, I was like, I'm not even sure Ricochet can pull that stuff off, because it was
insane.
It was he gets such air. He's only 20 years old, and so I expect at some point it may be the 6-man tag from last night, because it was just that good.
I'm gonna add one thing about Dante Martin. Obviously, like if you've seen me on Twitter, I promote him all the time because the Young Bucks, the top flights from Minnesota. I've seen him at independent shows. I've watched him since he was about 17 wrestling, and he's been doing a lot of that since then. So last night I was marking out, and I rarely mark out when I'm covering, and last night I did. So it was really cool to see him do that. And I'm telling you guys, that was just like a coming out party. He's not done. Like he is gonna, he's only, like you said, he's only 20, and I think somebody on Fightful said just wait till he's 25, like when he learns more. Him and his brother are just like studs in the ring. So
do we know when his brother's coming back? By the way, because I know he had an injury,
ACL injury. So wrestlers with ACL injuries can be anywhere from 4 to 12 months. It's weird.
I don't think we'll be seeing him until next year.
It depends on the severity of it.
Yeah, it just depends. I know he's already working out because I have a buddy that works out at the same gym that he does. So, and he's
in the middle stages, probably. He's in the middle stages of the recovery. If he started working out,
yeah. So, but I mean, that's the thing. I'm not there because I don't work out.
What about you, Aaron? What's your favorite match?
Mine is not exactly matches, like pure athleticism, but it's more the stories going to the matches. Mine is probably like 99 Brock and Austin. I mean, okay, I don't think there's any bigger story in wrestling history than Brock and Austin. 2 of the most iconic stars of any era of wrestling. You could debate me on this. They're the most iconic stars of any era of wrestling. Look, I love the WrestleMania match of 15. I did like the Backlash match, the rematch. I did like WrestleMania 17, despite the heel turn. I did not like that. I don't like the retirement match for Austin. I did not like that WrestleMania match. But Rock and Austin, they're not the best matches, but for what they are, the story going into those matches, even though they're solid good matches, they're not amazing matches, but they're good matches. But the story is going into those matches, it just blew my mind. Those 2 biggest iconic wrestlers of any era.
You reminded me, just real quick, another one that I've seen at least 5 times from WrestleMania 17, TLC 2. I mean, I've seen that. I've seen Edge spear Jeff off the ladder. It's got to be close to 4 dozen times, and this is the thing. Like, there is something magical about that era where you had all the flashes go off at the same time that really helped make it a moment. And unfortunately, it's never something that we're going to get back. But that TLC 2 match, like, I mean, the three finest tag teams of the Attitude Era in the match that they made, and they made into the big match um, um, uh, uh, done that it is now. And everybody them involved in that match, even you had run-ins by Rhino and Spike Dudley and Lita, and it all made sense. It all was so good, and it's just what an awesome match that was.
Well, it's going to be one crazy thing after another. Next week, we've got a lot of stuff we have to go through. I'm going to end up catching up with Tad. We're going to end up getting ready for one hell of a weekend. We've got SummerSlam next weekend. We finally get to see who is the real head of the table in this tournament. And Drew, good luck, man. It's going to be interesting.
Keep that cat away from Denise. She said she'll cut the heads off of cats. That's what she said.
Then we'll figure everything out when it comes to Ray and Rob's match. I might end up talking to Tad about seeing if we could throw Kevin and Witz's match into it and see what they think. There's a lot of stuff we can do, but we're going to try to get it done as best as we can. Yeah, I'm getting sick of cats. And I have one. Especially with what's coming down the pike. I mean, the Saudi show just got added as a possibility. So
why are they doing that show? My God.
So right now, as it stands, we could do. So I mean, we've got TakeOver coming up. We have to figure out the winner for the Fight for the Fallen, because that is still in a tie. So we might end up intertwining that with TakeOver also. We might have them do it also. So we're gonna have a huge weekend for this tournament. It's gonna be a make or break, because right now, as it stands with that tie, we literally have 1, 2, 3 matches, 4 matches all squared up for next week. And we'll end up trying to make sure and get it all straightened out and right for it. But as it stands right now, so far, we've only got 5 people who've qualified in this tournament to the next round. So we'll see what happens. So and plus, there's still people wanting to go after everything else because that title is real. And you can tell them where they can find you. It's nice to have no microphone, and he didn't mute it. It's his own mic.
Okay, you can follow him at Anakin JMT on Twitter and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? Okay, so I am at Big Money Drew on Twitter, the best and worst place to be. And I will be winning.
It's funny how it's lip service right now because your mic's not working.
Yeah, your mic's not working, man.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. That's why.
Drew plug for you.
No, I accidentally had it muted because I talked to it. All right, you can follow me on the Twitter at Anakin JMT.
I mean, I said that already, but whatever.
You know what? Just get out of here. We don't need you. No.
I say yes. Okay.
Fine.
We're ending the show. Let's end it on a positive note.
All right, fine. You can find me on the Mr. Warren Hayes Discord with this guy and sometimes this guy.
Yeah, sometimes.
And very rarely this guy.
Never.
And this guy. And yeah, this guy just I don't know what his deal is. He doesn't like to pop in, but
I don't do Discord. So.
Well, this guy does. He likes to likes to think he's the king of gifts. We all know that's not true. We all know he gets beaten. He gets beaten in the gift game. It's fine.
I know I'm the king of gifts. I'm the god of gifts.
I've taken it over.
Well, all I gotta say is, check out what's coming down the pike.
Accept it.
I got nothing to accept. I do gotta leave though. Before I do, boom.
Hey, that's just wrong. Anyways, DMGC, tell them where they can find you.
I don't have any social media that I use regularly, so
you can find him
behind
the scenes.
Title shot and take the title. Then I'm disappear for another 3 months. Yeah, that's what
I'll take care of it, GMG. You can find him running AEW behind the scenes, and
yeah. How can you let that thing happen? Matt Caster get out.
Don't tell that. Don't.
All right, Aaron, tell them where they can find you.
Oh, so yeah, okay, thank you. You can find my YouTube channel and my Twitter at Aaron Entertainment down below. I'm doing a stream tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. It's kind of a funny stream. It's a stream that don't take seriously. If you find my rumor I made up seriously, then you have a problem because it's a rumor stream I made up. It's about Becky Lynch being cast in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a character that's not very popular. It's made up rumors, but have fun enjoying it.
Well, we're going to have a lot of fun next week. We've got multiple matches being done. Tad's going to run the helm and stuff like that. We'll figure out and leave some suspense on whether Ray Callahan returns. Hopefully he does. And then we'll find out what happens at SummerSlam. Just tune in this week. It's going to be a lot of interesting things. We've got a lot of wrestling to cover. It's going to be a fun week coming up. Also, there is some stuff in the works for next year, already starting in talks and production with these guys, and some contracts have to be signed. Anyways, do a good deed, pay it forward. Just have a good day, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Bye.